Where to begin? I mean, we just had this big announcement from Nancy Pelosi. Yeah. This is at a whole new level.
And let's frame it in a couple of ways, Allison, because if the first half of President Trump's administration was dominated by the special counsel investigation, the second half is going to be dominated by what we just saw today from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. We know the president is watching this. We know the president is engaged in this. We know the president is tweeting about this already. He's branding it the same way. This is a witch hunt, except this time it's not Robert Mueller. It's not the angry Democrats. It's the House Democrats. And he's naming them. He's calling out these committee chairs. He's calling out Speaker Pelosi. Inside Trump world, based on my reporting, there is a mix of trepidation and defiance, frankly. I'm told by sources that the president doesn't want impeachment, right? He doesn't relish the prospect of impeachment, but they know that politically there is a sense this might help fire up the people who support the president, his core supporters, and there may be some back up to that when you look at some of the poll numbers. Now, with a caveat, right? Recent polling happened before this whistleblower complaint emerged and before this Ukraine story became a big deal. But at that time, the majority of Americans did not support impeachment, right? So maybe this is a political risk for Democrats. That said, and I've talked to Democrats who acknowledge that, who say maybe it is, but we are doing, and you heard Nancy Pelosi talk about the Constitution how many times? We are doing the work of the Constitution. This goes above politics, is the argument from Democrats here. And that's, I think, where you'll see this argument go as we hit this sort of what you could call, my colleague Pete Williams described as a rebranding stage now, right? This isn't just a bunch of investigations. This is an impeachment inquiry.
Serious stuff. We know, Hallie, that we're expecting to hear the transcript of the conversation that the president had with Ukraine. We're expecting to hear testimony before Congress this week. A lot of people are thinking we're going to get a whole lot of answers here. But it begs the question, if the president, if the White House is releasing these transcripts, are we going to be disappointed by what's inside them?
Depends on what side of the aisle you're on, right? If you're a Democrat who's looking for a smoking gun, you have to think about the fact that the president wants these transcripts released and knows what's in them. There's also the fact of the matter that while the president calls this a transcript, we don't know what this is going to look like. We don't know that this is going to look like a play script with he said, she said, he. It could be notes. That's often what happens is these officials take notes of these calls and then it's kind of more of a readout versus a transcript. It is entirely possible that we will, when you and I talk tomorrow, we'll have just as murky of an understanding as what happened as we do today, based on what perspective you're coming at and which side of the aisle you're coming from. Because remember, while Democrats are looking to move forward with the impeachment inquiry, and Nancy Pelosi, I think today you saw, had an untenable tipping point here, right? She couldn't hold off her caucus any longer. Republicans are largely a united front. That is something that's been cited to me by sources close to the president. Hey, look at the GOP. They all back him. We still have, the faith of the people that matter on Capitol Hill to the president, the people in his own party.